I'm Joel Elliott. You can follow my awkward handle on Twitter by following @awkwardhandle on Twitter. There's going to be a protest today. We're going to go see about that because Huntsville knows that hashtag Black Lives Matter.
Out for the marchers for the rally. Actually, yeah.
My name is James Robinson. I'm the CEO of Free to Be, and Free to Be runs the statewide anti-violence project as part of our mission to end violence, as well as advocating for the human and civil rights of sexual and gender minorities. So I'm very honored to be here as part of our work to end violence. I want to thank you all for coming. This is a very significant, historic day in Huntsville, and we want it to be a very positive event. Yesterday morning, a member of the Huntsville community named Tiffany Johnson had emerged from another night of being extremely troubled. Her wife is an African American woman, and she was heartbroken over what has been happening. She has a biracial child, Tiffany does, and several other biracial children in her immediate family. So Tiffany wanted to put together this event. She reached out to me and Vincent Rutherford because we've had experience doing this, and Afu here wanted to do something in the community also, and we all connected together to combine our efforts to make a strong community event with a strong community presence. This morning, we're very thankful that Mayor Tommy Battle, who is back here in the crowd, and his police department, whose representatives are up here with us, came together with us and had a very inclusive conversation, and we combined efforts again. There were a lot of changes today in the event, but we did this because we want to promote solidarity. We do want to recognize both the police officers who lost their lives in Dallas and in other places across the country because they were at events supporting Black Lives Matter, while at the same time we remember the people who are part of the Black Lives Matter movement who have lost their lives. It's important for me to be here because I'm a part of a population. I am a gay man. I go throughout life also knowing that things happen to people in our community, simply because they are who they are. And I think it's very important, Tiffany and I both know it's important for us to use our voices as white members of our community to say that we love, that we care, that we are all one people, and that together we can make change. And that we are proud to march with you in support of you in your rights. And I thank you personally for all the times you've marched with me. This is Huntsville. We're the Star of Alabama. We love this city. I do want to mention that there was some confusion this afternoon because we made changes in the event. We know that people are still showing up over at the park. So after part of the march, I'm going to split off just so you'll know what I'm doing. And I'm going over there so that those people aren't left out because everyone simply couldn't get the word in time of the changes. So again, thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Afu. After Afu, we're going to have two prayers. Reverend Sherry Burney of Grateful Life Community Church here, and Reverend Troy Garner from Fellowship of Faith will be both leading us in a prayer of unity. And then we will begin our march. It will go back this way across the parking lot to Cleveland. The police will be with us, making sure everyone is safe from traffic problems and anything else. And it will proceed down to the Fallen Officers Memorial at the headquarters of the Huntsville Police Department.
Oh. Okay. I know, look. How about we just hold off?
This is community.
Unity can be difficult.
It's been a long day. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, this evening. I can't lie and say that I'm completely prepared. I won't lie and say I'm completely prepared right now to address you all, because it's been just so fast as we kind of going throughout the day of emotions of what's actually happening across the country and what's happening here. Usually I'm good at this stuff, but I've had to really kind of take care of myself today and just prepare myself to come and address you all. And thank you all for coming out, despite what a lot of accounts have said, that this was some type of hate rally or some type of anti-white movement. I want to be very clear about something. The Black Lives Matter movement is simply one in response to the consistent oppression and violence and injustice that African American communities deal with across this country. I want to be very clear in saying this, because me, for one, someone who is a licensed counselor, I can't even talk right now, one who deals with people who do not look like me on a regular basis, it saddens me to live in a community with people who I genuinely love, but in every instance, in every interaction that I have, I'm questioned of my character, I'm questioned of my motives, I'm questioned of my intellect, and I'm questioned of my value in being unapologetically a fool, which means being unapologetically Black. I wrote some things that I kind of just use as an outline, because like I said, I'm better at this usually, but y'all forgive me.
You're doing good.
I really thought that I would be able to really, intellectually, articulately express some of the points that I wanted to make without emotion, but this is what I really have to say. Right now, as a community, as a people, and I speak specifically to my people, to Black people, and it's the first time that I've ever felt comfortable saying this in Huntsville, in a public place, to say that I see you, I acknowledge your identity, and I acknowledge your pain right now. And right now we're suffering, and right now we're hurting. And the reality is, we have to walk around on a regular with smiles on our faces, and we have to put the strong face on, and we have to keep moving on and carrying on as if everything's okay. Well, I'll be honest, everything is not okay. These issues we internalize daily, but we can't go to work and talk about it with our coworkers for fear of being reprimanded. We can't even oftentimes talk to our white friends about this for fear of being misunderstood and taken out of context. And the reality that as I stand here, I'm looking in a crowd of people who I honestly didn't know existed in Huntsville, of people that cared enough to risk their time and their safety amid all the reports to come out and support our community right now. I won't lie and say I'm okay. And I won't lie and say it's going to be all right, because I honestly don't know if it will. Because history has shown that these things tend to repeat themselves. I don't know if this conversation, these marches, these protests, these meetings that we have will really actually result to some type of change. But that's what we wish, that we keep moving and we keep pressing. I won't lie and say that I can say something to people in this community to make you feel better after what we watched over and over and over and over on social media, that I had to ask people, please stop sharing this. It's triggering, it's trauma. To watch a father be shot with a 4-year-old child in the back seat. I'm a father. And the reality that I've been pulled over numerous of times, that was me in that car. That was me who did everything the right way. Went to school. I didn't get in trouble. I played ball. I went back, got another degree. But the reality is, for many people in this community, they can't see that. They can only see this. And that is the issue at hand. It's not about, us against them, police, white against black. It's about the reality that our humanity on day to day aren't taken into consideration. The reality is this in Huntsville. Police brutality is not our specific issue. But the reality that systemic racism spills over into our day-to-day lives and workplaces and interactions and biases and stereotypes and opinions of individuals we just don't understand, that's a reality. That's a harsh reality. And I applaud you. The majority of the people here are Caucasian. This speaks to the hope that I've had for Huntsville, because I almost lost hope in staying in this city, to be completely honest. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Right now, my friends are marching the highways and the byways of Atlanta, Georgia right now, when for years we've been doing this, but for years in Huntsville, I didn't feel like I could do anything. So I'm sorry that I'm so emotional, but the reality is, it's very hard to keep a smile on your face when the rest of you feels worthless. The rest of you feels like nothing. Alton Sterling and Philando Castile, say their name. Alton Sterling, Philando Castile. They were our brothers. And the footage we watched left us with very little understanding of why they had to have their lives ended. This was no different with Trayvon Martin, no different with Tamir Rice, Sandra Bland, Eric Garner. Their lives represent our own. Smiles that hide tears, code switching to preserve our livelihoods, and struggling with the reality that sometimes we must do ugly things in order to protect, in order to provide for our families. So today, let's make it clear. While we do hold police across the nation and in Huntsville accountable for these actions, we want people to understand that it's not any different than how we would treat our own. If you do wrong, you must pay the consequences for it. Simple. We will continuously and constantly place pressure on city government to be transparent, truthful, and fair with all processes, whether they're civilian or in law enforcement. And we will not anymore stand silently as we watch our brothers and our sisters murdered simply because it's not happening right here. This, what I'm about to say, is to my black men, to my brothers. Today, I cried. I cried tears in between meetings, cried tears in the bathroom, cried tears to keep going. But this isn't the only time I cried. Yesterday I cried. The day before that I cried. The day before that I cried. Not because lives were taken, but because of the very harsh reality that nobody ever hears black men cry. No one ever asks, are we okay? And if everything's going to be all right. I wonder how many people actually bought CDs from Alton Sterling. How many of them just saw him as another hustle man trying to get a quick buck, not realizing that he had mouths to feed. I wonder how many people asked Philando what it was like being a straight A student, doing everything the right way, doing what you love to do, working as a food worker, but realizing that you're underpaid and overworked. And in Huntsville, I wonder how many people offered young Mustafa Bakerfield a part-time job in order for him not to have to steal and be shot and killed the way that he was. That's the context in which we see these things. So today I cried. I cried for my brothers who cry in silence, conditioned to be strong and emotionless while bearing the burdens of familial expectations and generational poverty. The burden of black male masculinity, one where we're expected to hold it all together, but given little direction actually how to do so. One where our sexuality is fetishized, but outwardly resented as animalistic aggression and tendencies. And today, while meeting with Captain Jeffrey Rice and Chief Harris, I cried again. Because as they spoke to me, it wasn't as they spoke to me in that room in City Hall, it wasn't concerned citizen and police officers. It was father to son. It was big brother to little brother. It was uncle to nephew. And the words that they gave me broke me down again. Because the reality is that sometimes all we need is just somebody to tell us it's gonna be okay and to keep going. We seek this daily, somebody not only believing in, but speaking life into us. And in that moment, they weren't police officers. Like I said, they were family.
I was recording that on a track phone, so I didn't get everything. It actually cut off there. Sorry, I didn't get the entire speech. It was very moving. I was pretty misty, actually. I ended up releasing the video that you can see in the description below because the unity march between Black Lives Matter protesters and the police ended up with police walking us to jail, that's a little patronizing. But yeah, watch that video. I was kind of upset. But yeah, I wanted to get this out where the speech could be heard because the raw video clip nobody's watched. And so there you are. Afu spoke very passionately and made some very excellent points. We're going to have a racial equality meeting downtown tomorrow afternoon as kind of a follow-up to this march that happened last week.